Hi everyone, this is Eileen Burns from the Spiritual Marketing Club. Now today I have David Rabone, and David's a good friend of mine, but he's also a coach, healer and therapist. And today we're going to chat a little bit about what David does, his journey, what brought him to here, and actually how he helps healers, therapists, coaches, anyone that is working on sort of spiritual or creative way. So hi David.
Hi Eileen, thank you for inviting me here for a wee chat.
Okay, so David, I want you just to sort of, I suppose, tell me a little bit about your journey. I know a lot about your journey, but I want you to share, I would love you to share it with my audience a little bit about your story.
Right, okay. So I'm actually a pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for almost 26 years, and although part-time, and I've been training and working as a healer for, I don't know, 22, 23 years. So they kind of went hand in hand. And some people think, what a dichotomy, like Western medicine and then more holistic stuff. But, it seems to work for me. My brain can handle it. But there's some changes ahead. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so what do you want to know?
Tell me, so what brought you down this route? What, triggered the sort of start?
Yeah, okay, so what triggered it? Living a hellish lifestyle in London and being a very sensitive, very empathic person living in London was just torture, and I was making extremely poor choices. And then I went for it was a birthday present actually. Some friends bought me a crystal healing session, and the woman was working on me, and she said, you've been a healer in so many lifetimes, and you were a high priest in Atlantis and Egypt. And I was completely new to this at that point. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay then, fair enough. Yep. And then a couple of months later, I was in Bournemouth, and I was just in a little new agey shop, which I'd never been in before, and I saw a book on Reiki, and I thought, I'm going to buy that. And within the weekend, I had booked up to do a course. And then I just, did these Reiki courses very, very quickly. Over the space of a couple of years. And then I started teaching it. And then I kind of gave all that up to go and do some light body work. And then I started working with a Chinese master called Aiping Wong. Yep. So that took up 4 years of my life, which was extremely interesting, very challenging. And then in the middle of that, 2 years into working with Aiping, I got sick. Mm-hmm. And 2 years after that, I had to come home to Scotland. So then, I came back here and I carried on with my healing journey. I think when I came back, I went into the more self-development side because I wanted it to be more less esoteric and more practical, Yep. It's fine flying around the clouds, but, but we live in a physical world and we have to implement what we learn and just have it more physical, more practical. That's where I was at that time. So I did life coaching, NLP, hypnotherapy, theta healing, which was very interesting. And then I started doing something called quantum entrainment, which I still do, which is just effortless healing. It's just wonderful what can occur with that. And then I started doing something called light grids with a guy called Damien Wynn, he lives in Greece. He's very successful. And I did that for 4 years. And then I decided enough's enough. I've had enough spiritual techniques. It's time for me to wake up. Mm-hmm. I really felt like I wanted to just focus my attention on spiritual awakening, enlightenment, whatever. so that's where I've been for the last, actually 5, 6, 7 years now, just on that path. So I kind of took a step back from all the healing work and working with people, and then when the whole pandemic thing hit, this shocking time that we're in, I thought it's time for me to step up. I've got so many years of experience. I missed out something really quite important. I'm training to be a wellness coach. Bringing my 26 years of healthcare experience together with all my healing experience. So, bringing my left brain and my right brain together and do it through this, the medium of wellness coaching. So I'm still in the middle of the training with that. I'm defining my niche, which for lots of folk can be quite challenging, and has been challenging for me. But you've helped me enormously with that, so that's very good. But your niche is an extension of who you are. So my niche is spiritual healers, people who are on a path of awakening, light workers. Now, light workers doesn't necessarily mean you're a healer. You could be a light worker and be an artist. You could be a light worker and be working in a bank. You could be government, Well, that would be great if we had more light workers in government. So, yes, people who have a certain level of consciousness and understanding and who want to bring more light and higher frequencies to this world. That's the people that I choose to work with. It just so happens that most of them at the moment are healers and therapists and coaches. So the other really important thing, last summer, someone brought this healing technique to my attention. It's called Metratronia Therapy, working with Archangel Metatron, which is, I swore I'd never get back into healing techniques, but this moved me. I had the most amazing experience after someone gave me a treatment, and so I decided, I'll do this. So now I have done a couple of levels of it. There only is 2 levels. There's the practitioner level, and then there's the master level. The master level is where you can attune other people. So that's where I'm at with that. But it's more than a spiritual healing technique. It has healing applications, but it really is all about ascension. This is a real spiritual awakening tool, and it's effortless. And the information that we're given in this is that less is more. You have to simplify everything. Be still, be silent, be an empty vessel. Let the mind quieten, let the ego soften, and allow these energies to come in and lift us up, lighten us up, help us release old ways of being, old limited ideas that we have about the world and about ourselves and about reality, so that we can embrace a new dimension. So what we're going through just right now is just so shocking for so many people. So what I've been doing, I've been offering an initial free distant Metratronia healing, and the feedback has been more or less fantastic.
I can vouch for that.
The experiences, and I'm just the middleman. It's source energy here that's finding these people, bringing them to me, and then they're receiving this beautiful, uplifting, energetic experience. It's something else.
And I think the thing about Metratronia, if I'm right, David, is that it tends to just come through in a way that whatever gifts you've already got, it's sort of, is it up leveling or kind of?
Well, what it does, from my understanding, what it does is that it helps you get so aligned with your divine blueprint You know, it helps you release a lot of the static, a lot of the baggage, a lot of your conditioning, a lot of your belief systems. It opens you up. The way I kind of visualize it, it's just like it's an alignment. You know, everything's just put in place so that you can receive the full blast, really, of why you're here. It's you're downloaded with your blueprint. That's the way I see it. And it's a process. It's a process. If you're coming to Metratronia to expect miracles overnight, I wouldn't expect miracles overnight. Like everything, it's a process, but the energy is speeding up. So I think what we can achieve in a month would be like what we could achieve in 5 years, maybe 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything is just getting faster and faster and faster. And there is a real need for us to show up as light workers, to show up and really shine, and to stop being afraid and not to allow our conditioning to hold us in little cages. And the thing about most light workers that I know, so sensitive, very shy, empathic, and so speaking from my own experience here, as a child, I unconsciously, I didn't know I was doing it. I mean, why would you do it? Keep yourself small so that you could be accepted, so that you could be loved, so you could feel part of the family that you're in. I didn't recognize that until I was in probably my 30s. That was what I did as a child.
Yeah.
And it's what I've done throughout my whole life. And in some ways, I'm still doing it, just to vibrationally fit into the place that you find yourself in. For example, in the pharmacy, when I'm at work, they don't see me. They see a character that I put on. For that particular job. And so am I diminishing myself? Yeah, of course. Well, we pour ourselves into a certain mold.
Yeah, and I think the problem is that most people do that to a certain extent, but they have no awareness they're even doing that, because they've got pulled into that identity or way of being, isn't it? That they don't even realise they're not being themselves, or they're not showing up as themselves. And as you say, they play small. Now, obviously, I've known you for over 7 years, David, and one of the things that I know since I've met you now, for those of you who don't know, I've tried, you would be shocked how many techniques and tools and healers and coaches, and David knows as therapists that I've been to. And one of the things that struck me always about David had a natural gift, and I've always said to him that he has this signature stillness. An interesting thing, when you've been working with Metratronia, it's just as if that's heightened to a different level, but it's still your gift. It's coming through, and you can feel that in the way that you work. And David has helped me considerably, but it's like one of the things from a sort of a client's perspective is that I've been on the receiving end of so many different types of healing, but this completely, it feels so clear, so pure. And for me, even when you've helped me, it's worked on levels that in some ways feels quite remarkable, if that's the way to explain it. And I think we forget how much we do hold. We're holding on to the past, and even in the fear. A lot of people are in fear mode. I'm seeing a lot of light workers, as you say, but a lot of them in a situation at the moment, they don't really know what to do, and they're maybe getting caught in the fear, or they know that they need to, I'm not saying they need to step up, but this is the time almost to step up.
There is a need for them to step up, and it's a need for themselves. It's also a need for the world. But when you don't show up, when you don't use your gifts, it's like you begin to fester inside. But the creative energy then can become destructive. That's what I found in my life earlier on. If you've been given, God's given you a gift,
Yeah.
If you're not using it, it can, my perception, it can begin to fester, and there's a lot of self-judgment, a lot of frustration. We've got to show up,
Yeah.
we've got to show up, we've got to shine a light. That was even before the pandemic thing hit. With this coaching course, it's called the IAWP, which is the International Association of Wellness Professionals. I should have finished the training by now, but circumstances have just kind of put the brakes on it. But I will finish it very, very soon. But at the end of the year, the end of 2019, going into New Year, I just said to myself, okay, so this is, I need to rise up, and I need to shine. I need to shine my light. I just knew, I intuitively knew that was, I wouldn't say I knew that something big was coming, but I knew there was big changes for me to occur, and it was time for me to step up.
Yeah.
And thank God I've had Metratronia, because it really has given voice to what I've kind of been feeling, but I just couldn't articulate the words or the message. And so, and I don't like to rely on techniques, and this isn't really a technique. If you ever studied this, you would realize there's no rigidity to it. It's very fluid. It's always changing. You don't get an instruction manual. You do kind of, but it's not really an instruction manual like you would expect. It is a very intuitive process where you just tune into source energy, tune into Metatron. There's other beings that are involved, like Jesus and Thoth, the Thoth the Atlantean. And for me, it's just a really sacred process. And as I said, the feedback has been pretty amazing. It really has.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I see a difference in you because you've, because a lot of times you would shy away from a lot of things. You weren't always owning your gift, and you're starting to own that gift. What would you say to other people that know that they have work to do, but are maybe keep pulling themselves back? What kind of advice would you suggest at the moment?
Okay, so what I would suggest at the moment is get in touch with Eileen. No, seriously though, we can dissect every reason why we are too afraid to step up, and you can spend lifetimes doing that. It's time just to step up. Step up. Stop waiting to get motivated. Take some action. The motivation will come straight after you take the action, and you've just got to take action. And I'm not really, in the past, well, you know this. For me to take action was a bit of a struggle, but this shocking thing that we're going through just now, for me, that was just the perfect time for me to show up. People were at home, so they were more willing to listen. People were ready. People are ready to wake up, because the sense that something isn't quite right in the world at the moment. There seems to be a tremendous imbalance, and there's like a reset, and so people are waking up. Not everyone, but more and more people are waking up.
I think the fact too that a lot of people have had more downtime as well. It's helped because people keep themselves so busy and so distracted that it's easy to not look at things, isn't it?
Of course, yeah. So what I would say is, if you've got a gift, if you've got something that you want to share with the world, just do it.
And
we don't all have to be superstars. We don't all have to be famous. We don't all have to be on center stage. And a lot of us, I think, as light workers, we're sensitive, we're empaths. We feel that we have to do something. We know that there's something big that we have to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in front of the camera.
Well, exactly. And often the smallest things we can actually have a big effect. People forget that. Isn't it that the small things that we can do can actually be often the bigger? That they have bigger effects than the things that,
if you look at a movie, you've got the lead actor and actress, and then you've got the supporting. For most of us, we'll be the supporting cast.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, to
Yeah.
help people, to help. If you're not charismatic, if you're not, if you're not made to be in the limelight, help others get into the limelight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be that supportive. Be a manager. Help. Be a coach. Be a healer. Be somebody who helps the people who are meant to take center stage. And I'm hoping that there's going to be lots of younger folk coming through who are going to be the politicians, who are going to be the decision makers, but they're going to do it from a higher consciousness. And so people like us, could we potentially help those people raise their consciousness, give them the confidence, help them find their voice?
Yeah.
We don't all need to be superstars.
And one of the things that I see a lot of is a lot of people who come into this industry new is that they try to run before they can walk, and they think that they've got to put themselves out, in a huge way. So it's often baby steps, and how can you say, it's getting the foundations right. That makes a big difference, but you have to be able to put yourself out that, take that step forward.
Yeah.
And we find a lot of people either take a step forward and they're back, step forward and back, or, they feel that they have to be this grand, as you say, at a certain stage, when that is, that's anything but the truth that how we can do it. And I think also sometimes if you're open to, we have an idea of how it should be. I knew that when I started out, I had an idea, and it never went the way that I thought. But when we can work with what we've got and what turns up in our life, and then just work with that, there's all sorts of doors can open that we sometimes can't imagine.
Well, now especially as we're going through this, this is showtime. This is the ascension of humanity that we've been talking about for years. This is it's obviously started a while ago, but this is the major catalyst for tremendous growth for everyone. And I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I was flying around the university. I can't remember what I was saying there.
Well, I was kind of just talking about how, people at different stages, they should move, you can move forward in certain ways. Obviously, you're saying this is the time to show up.
Yeah.
You just do, in the way that we do it. But what I was saying was that sometimes we have this idea how it should be.
Oh, yeah. So this is, exactly. So with something like Metratronia, it's clearing away the dross.
Yeah.
Metratronia is not the only technique. There are many, many techniques that connect you with these really high frequencies. But what they'll do is they'll help you it's like taking off old clothes. Yeah. They'll help you take off the old clothes. Yeah. And you might be standing there naked before somebody else gives you some new ones. And that might feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But the new clothes are coming, the new garments, the new programming, the new way of life, the new blueprint. It's not really a new blueprint, it's your blueprint, but it's coming in. It's coming in. And who knows what you're capable of? Most people don't know what they're capable of.
I think too as well, one of the interesting things about when you go down this path is that where you start and where it, as you say, you just don't know what starts. Things can change very rapidly, even the direction of work that you're doing. And we're finding a lot of people maybe struggling at the moment because how they used to do things. Yeah, and I think it changes dramatically, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Plus, a lot of folk have set their desires, they set their goals from an egoic structure. They're coming from a place of fear. They might have decided, I'm going to give up my corporate job and I'm going to become a coach. Mm-hmm. And they might be wanting to earn the exact same amount of money. Well, they might be earning £200,000 in corporate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're going to come in and earn £200,000. Well, that if they do, my God, they should write a book and make a movie and tell us all how to do it. I'm still doing my pharmacy job.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not enough to sustain. And you have to know how to run a business.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things that we see all the time, and it's not always easy. But the biggest thing, I think, a lot of heart-based and spiritual business owners, they don't always come in seen it as a business. That's the biggest thing that I see.
But what I think is going to happen now is that the amount of clients or for light workers, I think potentially the number of clients is going to be there's going to be a lot more, because there's going to be more people waking up. For healers especially, there's going to be a lot of folk who are needing healing. They're not being able to make sense of, there might be a huge, tremendous amount of pain because they don't understand that all the stuff that's coming up is just their old trauma, their old energies, their old conditioning, and so they're meeting it, and they have an opportunity to let it go. But a lot of folks, because they don't have the understanding, they might hold on to it and they push it down, which can manifest in all kinds of ways: physical illness, mental illness. So I think healers and therapists and coaches and light workers and people who are being of service, I think we're all going to be very, very busy.
Yeah.
I think this is the profession to be in, but it is a profession and it's a business, and it has to be treated as such. And it's a fine balance, because it's, like you said, it's a heart-based business, so it shouldn't be cutthroat. This is just my personal opinion. You can take this, you can throw it in the bin, but this is just the way I see it. You have to be from the heart. You have to be compassionate. You have to be ethical, and even as a pharmacist, I was told by one of my trainers, she said, take care of the service and the money will take care of itself. And I've never forgotten that. And in some businesses, they don't really take care of the service and expect a huge amount of money. But I don't think consciousness will allow that anymore.
Yeah, I think it's kind of changing, because things, well, I've seen a big change in the holistic and spiritual sector in the last 30 years, being a huge consumer of it. And I started seeing a lot of things going on in even, in this sector that never happened, a lot more. But I think that's turning again, because everything's becoming more transparent, isn't it? And people want more authenticity, they want more honesty, and people are looking for, they're more, before you would just look for a service, but now it's very much about who's aligned with,
it's all vibrational. It's always been vibrational, but a lot of folk they might go for the glitzy one. So their head has overruled their heart. So now, I don't think there's time for that. We don't have time for that. We need to wake up. This world is going through tremendous changes, and we have lots of choices to make. Where are you coming from? You're coming from the heart. Anyway, are we going off track with this conversation?
No, you're fine. So, so what I was going to ask you, David, what can you offer at the moment? So I know that you are offering a few things at the moment. So what can you offer?
Okay, so basically I am offering these free distant healings. It's just one distant healing. If you want more after that, then it is, I've set the price at £15. It's not a lot, but for some people it might be. So for the people who can't afford £15, it's pay what you can. I'm not going to do it for nothing.
Yep, and this is just a temporary offer you're offering at the moment.
It's temporary, yeah.
I'm just saying this is June 2020, just in case anyone watches this video another time.
Yeah, exactly. So, so like you say, it's temporary. The price will go up. It's powerful healing.
Oh, definitely.
I've had some life-changing stories. People, the feedback they've given they've said it has been life-changing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think I'm a bit add to there as well. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I've got a lot of medical challenges, and one of the conditions that I've had is it's been seizures and a horrendous pain in my ear. And with some of the sessions that David, I've not had any seizures recently. I've had no pain in my ear. It was almost like I felt as if I was being operated on. And that's just one example of just some of the things that you're seeing at the moment with it.
Yeah, well, it's amazing work. And a lot of healers like to take credit.
No, I know.
That's my experience. And I'm not getting all negative here. It's just my experience. It's so easy for the ego to come in and say, oh, yes, that was me. I'm so special. But see, with this one, especially when you're doing distance healings, you know that there is some higher divine force doing it all. So I just see myself as the concierge or the phone operator, just plugging you in. But it's still, it's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love doing it. So what else am I doing? Okay, so I am doing live healings, group healings.
Yep.
Starting this Sunday. For anybody.
What date is that?
That will be, was it the 14th?
Yeah, that's probably right. Yep, 14th. Yep. 14th.
So I haven't actually set everything up yet, but it is going ahead. And it'll be every Sunday after that. Okay.
Fantastic.
And so that will be group Metratronia healing. And so that will be about just basically what we've talked about. It's about alignment. It's aligning you with your higher self, or the truth of who you are. And so for that alignment to occur, all the things that cause misalignment have to be rectified. It has to be healed. You know, letting go of these limited ideas. Old belief systems, old egoic structures, they all have to go. I know we can't take them forward into a new paradigm. We can't. We have to, shed the old clothes. Well, God's got in the sewing machine and making us some new ones.
So where can they find you? Tell them where they can, details about. I mean, obviously I'll include links, but just to make it easy.
Okay. So because I'm in the process of creating the new website. My old website is www.davidrabone.com, but that's all going to change. Well, the URL is not going to change, but how I show up is going to change. And I'm on the new Zenler platform. But Facebook page, David Rabone Soul Healer. That's probably the best place to find me at the moment. But there will be new things, new websites, and everything all coming.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, David, for sharing, your story and telling us a little bit more about what you do. That's fantastic. So, you can get David on davidrabone.com, and I'm going to put a link with this video. A great opportunity to not just try David's healing, but to join in the group sessions. And I know even just the last couple of weeks, I've been feeling shifts again, huge shifts, which have helped me move forward in my business. So it's not just about, healing, it really is about alignment and help us own our gifts, no matter what capacity is. So thank you again. Bye for now.